Hello there! In today's video I'm gonna show you how to actually make 360 rotations in akeytsu. So you probably ran out into a problem, like you've made two keyframes, you've turned your model like this, and then when you play, nothing happened. Okay. So what's going on here is just quaternions, like between two keyframes. Okay, you have maximum to 180 degrees. Okay, you can't go further. If you go further, akeytsu will choose the shortest path to reach the second keys. So this means that, for example, if I turn like this, okay, akeytsu will directly reach this position. And it's the same if I try to go like this. So technically, like what I just did was more than 180 degrees, but what akeytsu will see is this position and compare it to this position here. And for him, the shortest path is going this way, not the other way. So what if you want to actually do this? You simply need to have an in-between key, okay? To indicate to akeytsu, okay, I want to go from this to this to this. Okay? And if you want to have a clearer view of what's happening, I invite you to just open up the curve board and shift right click to isolate the rotate channel. So you will see what's happening here. So let's go back and remove this key, okay, and see what happens. So say I'm just trying to reach this position like so. Okay, so you can see that the curve goes down. And now go back in the other way. So you can see it raises up until a certain point, and then boom, it goes down. So if you take a look at this value here, okay, so you can move the cursor around, you can see that it's pretty close to a 180 degrees. Okay, if you try to cross this limit, akeytsu will actually reverse it and go down to solve the quaternion equation. So if you don't know what quaternions are, you can watch a few videos about this on YouTube. Maybe it will explain you a bit better how this is helpful to solve 3D rotation. So what we see here are XYZ curves, and of course this is not quaternions. Quaternions is another kind of coordinates, but this is the way we interpret rotations in most 3D applications. So akeytsu basically translates quaternions in real time into Euler curves, so you can better understand what's happening. But as far as this goes, it's still quaternion, so your curves won't go above or below 180 degrees. Okay, so if you want to make a 360 degree rotation, the best, since you can't just divide it by 2, because you won't be able to reach exactly 360 degrees, no? So imagine I want to go from this position here to this position here, okay? And imagine I have just one key, so you can try to move this key around, but every time you will just reverse back to the initial position, just because you can't go above 180 degrees. So if I move this curve a bit down, so you will see that the final position is not precisely 360, but the total degrees I had allows me to have this key Okay, make this crunch here. If I don't have this crunch, it means I'm not actually going further than 180 degrees visually, I mean. So what I need to do if I want to actually reach 360 is have one more key than this one. So let's just move this one like here. So you can, if you want to have something like linear, etc., just pick a value you can divide by 3. So 90 is good, so I can go to 30 and 60 here, okay. And then I want to have like 120 degrees. So I can look up for this value here. I can even type it if I want. Then from this value to this one, okay, so just take a look at the direction, okay. So I want to go like minus 120. You can also just look at the curve and how it's not linear. If it's linear, okay, I've got this. And if it's linear, it means the rotation evolves linearly. So you don't have any jumps, okay, any speed up or slow down, etc. If I don't have this, like for example, let's say I got this, you'll see that the rotation slows, and you can actually just tell where it slows. Okay, it's here. It's because it decreased the incidence of the curve. So what I do when I do rotations, I rarely just go there and type a precise value. I just take a look at the curves, and until they are perfectly lined up, it's okay to me. Okay. Then I know I have a perfectly smooth result. I go back to my initial position. Okay, I can just navigate through keys to port this. Of course, you can remove this key and replace it with a loop key if you want. So it's the same, just it will loop indefinitely. Okay, it's I just have a little jump because you know akeytsu plays do this, so just resize the view and it's okay. So you have this 360 degree happening. It's super cool. One thing to take note of is that the axis you will use to make your 360-degree rotation might impact other axes. The blue one is often a cool choice, but if you try to go and let's make a new animation, let's okay, let's make a rotate, but on the green axis this time. Okay, just resize the view here. The green axis. Okay, let's go and reach. Okay, you can see that here I've got some strange value above and below my green axis. It's just because to reach higher value needs to make use of the other curves. Okay, but I should target the same you know, linear behavior. Yeah, this. So there I have this spinning movement. Okay. But you can see those two curves here are doing some strange gaps. In akeytsu we don't see it causing any problems because it's still quaternions translated later into Eulers. But if you send this to some game engines like Unreal, and Unreal for some reasons just resamples the curves or tries to add some new keys here because you give him a too low information in terms of keyframes. So, for example, let's say I work in 12 keyframes per second, and Unreal just needs 60 frames. It will create new frames, and it will simply just look at this value, this one, and just create some strange value in between. And what you will end up with is some erratic rotations, like your model go crazy just on those switch. So if this happens, it means that you've used the wrong axis, or that you didn't provide Unreal enough frame rated animation, if I may say so. So if your game run at 60 FPS, send him 16 FPS animations, and you should not have any problem. But for optimization purposes, it's better to avoid doing this. If you can send to Unreal like half the frame rate, half the target frame rate animations, you can trust Unreal. It should interpolate perfectly your animations. But if you have just half of the frame rate in keyframes, you will save like tons of data. So it's really important to keep this in mind. So in the event you encounter this, try to do your rotation using the blue axis. If you can't, because you really need to do this spin, you can either use another joint oriented correctly, and use it as a parent of this joint. So you can rotate the parent, don't touch this one, and have the good rotation. Yeah, that should solve your issues. The cool thing with quaternions though is that you can reach a precise point, like say I want to go from this to this, so it's a perfectly random rotations, and you will go there linearly. Like if you were in a Euler, for some cases, you might encounter some really curious rotates in between your keys, just because the Euler might need to avoid gimbal lock or run into gimbal lock. This is something you can take a look at on YouTube, and this is the reason why Akeytsu doesn't use Euler to actually rotate model in 3D. This is pretty powerful to have quaternions. It gives really expected and precise results. So yeah, if you happen like me at the beginning to just be have anger against quaternions and against akeytsu rotation systems, just take a deep breath, take a look at how quaternions are really cool to solve rotations in 3D, and just how a Euler is pretty dumb at this, and just come back to akeytsu and see for yourself how cool it can be. 360 or more rotations are quite rare actually in akeytsu, or in animation in general. So the problem can be, as you can see, can be workaround. And yeah, it shouldn't be something that prevents you to make cool animations in akeytsu. So yeah, keep that in mind. If this happens at some point, you know how to work around the issue, and else just have fun in akeytsu. See you. Bye bye.